Welcome to Sliver and Bite TV. Today we're making Turkish bread. A versatile bread, however, goes really well with homemade hummus. You can find the recipe right here on Sliver and Bite TV. And also goes really well with balsamic vinegar and olive oil. For a shorter tutorial, click the banner above now. Start by adding the sugar into the flour, followed by the yeast and salt. Give that a little mix just to make sure that you're evenly distributing the added ingredients. We're now adding the warm water. This should be approximately 40 degrees Celsius. And mix until you've formed a very loose dough. One last scrape just to get as much of the loose flour you can into that dough mixture. Clear some space so that you're able to lightly flour the bench. And dump out the dough onto the flour. Gather the loose dough into a mound and start kneading into a dough ball. Rolling it around the bench so that you're gathering all of that sprinkled flour. You'll notice that my hands are sticky, so when that happens, sprinkle a little more of the flour over the top and knead. I hope you have your kneading arms ready because we'll be doing this for roughly 10 minutes. When you start out, you'll notice that the dough is quite rough and has a lot of air pockets. You will keep flouring the bench until your hands are not sticky anymore. Out with the trusty bench scraper. When kneading, this is your best friend because it really grabs everything off of the table and able to incorporate it into the dough. I'll speed up the video here because you don't need to see me kneading for 10 minutes. you'll see a drastic change in the look of the dough now. It is much smoother and a much more elastic feel. Kneading for approximately 2 more minutes, and then I'm able to prepare the bowl ready to proof. Time to use that bench scraper again, just to make sure we've got all of the contents of the dough ready to proof. Grab the original bowl you used to mix the dough. It's okay that there is a little bit of flour in there. Lightly coat it with some olive oil. And pop in the dough ball seam facing down. And then drizzle the remaining olive oil over the top and just wipe over. On with a damp tea towel, and that is going to proof for 1 to 1.5 hours in a warm spot. So you're going to want that to be in an area that is over 25 degrees Celsius. Do a series of stretch and pulls in the bowl just to make sure you're getting as much of the olive oil as you can out of it. And then onto the bench, knead for about 1 to 2 minutes just to incorporate that olive oil. The dough at this stage should not be sticky to the touch. With your bench scraper, cut it directly down the center. Form them into a log and then pat out into your desired shape. I'm going for the traditional, long, rectangular look. On a baking tray, you're going to sprinkle on some semolina. I have tried putting it onto baking paper, however, because of the moisture content, it tends to stick to the bottom of it, so I go with the semolina. Arrange the 2 lengths of dough onto the semolina, and that will go off into that warm area, covered with the damp tea towel, for approximately 15 to 20 minutes. You will see a slight rise. With your fingertips, you're going to make a series of channels along the length. Remember, we're not making your traditional loaf of bread, so we are flattening it down just a little bit. I'm just lifting it off, just so that I know it's not stuck. A lot of people use an egg wash. I have some people in the business and they use milk. So we're doing a milk wash. This will assist in the browning, but also allow the sesame seeds and the nigella seeds to stick. Make sure you get the nigella seeds. It is a game changer and it will fill your house with such an amazing aroma. So sprinkle this mix on as light or as liberal as you like. Now I had preheated the oven to 200 degrees with 2 separate baking trays. Sprinkle on some semolina. When the Turkish bread goes into the oven, you want to make sure it goes onto a hot surface. And then place onto the baking trays. I have them on the middle rack. And that is in the 200 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes. You'll see, once I've taken them out, they're a light golden brown. Your house will smell like a Turkish restaurant. This is such a rewarding recipe. It is great to cut into strips, grill, and then dip into balsamic vinegar and olive oil. Or as you can see, dipping into some fresh hummus. But also, you can make toasted sandwiches out of it. Absolute perfection. Thanks for joining me. See you soon.